Hoppe. I have recently set up Sew in a Box. We founded that in November last year, and more recently I founded Sew Ready, a social enterprise dedicated to teaching young people and adults sewing skills. So Sew in a Box is a subscription based company, so we kind of like HelloFresh for the fashion industry. So I draft all the patterns, provide the fabric and how-to guides, so everyone at home can learn how to sew quite easily without the fuss of going to the shops, buying fabric and all of that. And then also Sew Ready is going into schools and doing events with children, and also working with women's centres to actually try to bridge the skills gap within garment construction by teaching these long lost skills, more or less. Sew in a Box is we are at the very early stage, well actually we're in the early stage of both of them. So yeah, we're just getting on our feet, but it's going really well so far. I've always wanted to have my own business, but it was probably whenever I was at university we had to come up with a business plan, and I came up with Sew in a Box because I noticed in class a lot of the girls were coming into university and they didn't even know how to thread a machine. They didn't know anything to do with sewing. I learned from my grandmother, so I had that base, but part of the criteria to get into that course was to have a GCSE or an A level, I think it was, in art. So a lot of the girls did have that, but they didn't have any sewing skills. So already you're at a back step as to what the tutors can actually teach. So usually you don't go in to do a degree unless you actually know something about it. You wouldn't go into medicine without knowing biology. You wouldn't go into, all this. But however, fashion, we're so far removed from the design process that we almost see as shopping as having an interest in fashion, whereas it's not the skills that are aligned with actually an academic perspective. So I was trying, with Sew in a Box, my hope for that is to actually bridge that gap and give people the skills and ability at home so they can test it out, because it's not being taught in schools. They're not having any, they're not really aware of what actually is involved in garment making, so that if through Sew in a Box, if they can learn in a kind of their own atmosphere and their own environment through just creativity, they'll actually form a desire to actually want to pursue this at GCSE or degree level. I won a innovation voucher through Invest NI, which has helped me develop my first prototype for Sew in a Box, and then through that I actually got the Silver Innovation Award through the Department of Education, or Department of Economy. So yeah, now I can use that funding to actually buy myself it's a Gerber software system, which actually helps me grade all the patterns and do all of that. So that's what I'm going to be doing this month, buying that equipment, because it's very expensive software. And then with Sew Ready, I just hosted my first ever kids camp, so teaching sewing skills to children. That was a week-long event hosted in Bow Street Mall over the Easter holidays, so kids could come between 10 till 2, and we taught them different sewing skills and creative abilities. So yeah, it was really fun.